Hi everyone, Jared here. Time for the market video update. We had a very active UK session and some great trades and some great pips. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But quick look at how everything's looking today. We had Bernanke get up there and give his spiel, which was basically the Feds are coming in full force to pump as much money into things as they need to. And so that really fueled stocks, really killed the US dollar, caused big runs on the euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, gold, and so on. So it looks like there's going to be a QE. I know they're saying QE3, but it's more like a QE7. But anyways, there's lots of possible, extensive intervening coming in. So that's really got the stocks going and really has the currencies headed south. And we're going to see the dollar headed south. The other currencies are really making some big runs. We had a couple of announcements out today, nothing too exciting. Pending home sales. Bernanke's speech today, of course, was what got everything kind of mixed up and going, and the German IFO. Coming into tomorrow, into Tuesday, we have consumer confidence out of the U.S. It's pretty kind of a quiet day there. We should get some good movements nonetheless. As always, we're keeping our eye on the dollar index. We know that that 79 area, we've been just kind of creeping around 79.50, 79.80, that general area, and the dollar index is back down just a little bit. But you can still see this trend line right here, and it's not really slipped into any kind of major downtrend yet. We've still got that trend line in the dollar index still is in a bit of an upswing for the moment. So we'll see if it can hang on to it or not. There's some big questions that we have to answer here. Quickly here, we saw for the notes last night, I put sell the euro dollar 135.50 with a target of 132.50 with a target of 132.00. As you can see, that was a very easy 50 pip run, and it just went a few pips beyond that, actually, about 10 pips before turning around and heading straight up. So we grabbed a nice 50 pip run out of that euro dollar. Went fantastically well. And then I also posted the notes to watch for that break of 133.00, 132.80, and then 133.00. And as Bernanke got in the saddle, we saw big breaks of that 132.00. This was actually Bernanke's speech right here, and it ran all the way up above 132.00 and then has kind of continued to trickle. So remember, our 133 level is really kind of that key, up or down kind of area, and we're back up above that. So it looks like this euro dollar has got some next big targets that it's looking for. Now the next target's about 134.85, and that's the highs back here. Keep in mind though, this euro dollar is still, we've got a bit of an inverted head and shoulders pattern right here, but it's still within this downtrend channel right here. I'm sure we're going to reach this 134.85 area. This is kind of a strong level of resistance that's attracting the euro dollar now, so I'm pretty sure we're going to get there. But it's going to have a little bit of a rough time getting there, and there is probably going to be some short-term reversals that we can look for. We're probably even going to see this dip back down below 133.00 before ultimately making that big run up. But for the moment right now, we can just kind of wait and look and see. I'm going to have to post some pending orders probably in the chat this evening and some more details on the notes. But there's not a lot we can do right now besides just wait and get a little bounce off this upper area here, this 133.60-70. And kind of bring it back down. We're definitely going to keep our eye on some of these trend lines right here. You can see that the euro dollar on this 5-minute chart's got a pretty extensive trend line, and so we get a nice little break of that, and there will probably be a couple of pips in there. I'm going to, like I said, I'll post more details in the chat and on Twitter about this, but somewhere down in this area here, probably below about 133.40-ish areas where we're going to start to see a little bit of a rundown. We might be able to get 20 or 30 pips out of that, but those details will be coming. Right now, it's a strong bull market here on the euro dollar, and we'll see kind of how that goes over the next couple of hours. Pound dollar, same thing. Last night in the notes, because of our nice little trend line right here, I had a sell the pound dollar 158.50. Again, a very nice 50 pip run with a target of 158.00, ran down to 158.00 right on the dot, and then turned around and came back up. So again, we grabbed another 50 pips out of this pound dollar on that move back down, and then as it came back up, we had some some buy ideas around 158.80. And then 159.00 ultimately, and both those levels were broken, and so there was some nice pips on the way up as well. So we really raked them in for the for the group last night on some of these movements, and this morning. So very nice runs on both those pairs. But now Same thing on the pound dollar is kind of where's the next leg of movement here. 159.90 is going to be a pretty strong level. You can see that it's only a couple of pips away from that on the larger time frames. That's kind of those highs right there. Pound dollar's been really consolidating at this trend line and really having a hard time with this 200-day moving average. But I think it's finally made a clean break of that. We're probably going to get above this 159.90, this 160 sooner than later, but we just got to kind of keep an eye on that and make sure that we don't get too anxious and try to trade the break of that just yet. It's made a big run. The low of today to the high is about 170 pips, so that's a pretty run market. We're probably going to see a little bit of a pullback, and we're going to keep our eye on some of these shorter term time frames for just little small retracements, little small breakouts on the pullback here. See if we can get back towards this 15900 before charging and getting through those upper levels there. So I'm going to be looking for some little areas, and again, I'm going to post these details as the day goes on in the chat and on Twitter and so on. But probably around 159.50 is where we're going to see some little sell-off opportunities for this pound dollar. But very nicely bullish, making a strong run. One thing that I do want to remind everybody of, we're starting to see a little bit of trending movement here. This could be the start of kind of that pre-summer movement that I've talked about so many times, but I just don't think it is yet. I think we're going to see a big run up on some of these pairs of another couple hundred pips, maybe another 100-200 pips, maybe even a little bit more. But I wouldn't be surprised to see that pre-summer movement be a very dollar bullish move back down. So just because these levels are broken doesn't mean that this is the big run and we're going to see 600, 700, 800 pips in the next 2 weeks of upside movement. I'm not sold on that yet, and it could be, but we'll keep our eye out on some crucial levels there. But I don't think we're there yet. Aussie dollar has made some nice little runs here, and it got a little bit choppy and kind of hopped around in here a little bit. But here's what the Aussie dollar did. Nice trendline break right here, and it made a very kind of choppy, wild run down, but ultimately hit this nice little support right here, which was around, just below 10400. Hit that and has started to bounce and turn back the other way. Now I think it's headed back up into this 108.50 area here. Is kind of a short-term run. I think it'll probably get there. We got to make a nice little clearance here, though, of 105.50, and it's probably going to need a little bit of recovery before it makes it through that. But you can see that this 4-hour chart, we've got a nice little descending trend line, and it's coming right up to that descending trend line. So we got to clear that 105.50 to get that run up. But there's going to be some decent resistance there, so we're going to look for a little bit of a pullback and then a charge through that 105.50, and we should see some nice upside movement on this Aussie dollar. Same thing is on all the pairs. We're just going to keep our eye on these 5-minute charts and just see if there's some pullback opportunity here. Aussie dollar at this point, again, we're probably going to need to get this thing down 20 pips or so before we start to see some slight runs down, and I'll have those details posted in the chat as well. But those are going to be the levels to watch for. And then gold. Remember gold here. 1665 was our big level to watch, and that has broken in half, and gold is headed right back up into this upper range here. Broken our trend line, really kind of bottomed out here over the last several days, and looks like it might be headed back up into some of those upper levels there. So 1665 was broken. Next levels that we're going to have some decent time with is going to be right around 1700 to 1710, right in that general area. You can see a lot of consolidation there, and so on. So we're going to keep our eye out for those guys. But very nice movements, very nice runs, and we had a very excellent UK session and an early US session from those notes. Everything just really panned out nicely. So we'll have some more of that coming along, but let's just wait for these markets, see how they run over the next several hours, and we'll have more details coming up. Thanks a bunch, everyone. We'll see you in the chat.